Ladies and gentlemen, this is Victor Tafour, and he's going to talk to you very briefly about protecting marine biodiversity.
Yeah. This is the Sovereign Nature Challenge. It invites you to build a decentralized sovereign nature data commons infrastructure for the high seas, to have anyone contribute to and use the data, and to have nature be able to speak for itself and enable people to speak for nature. So why the high seas? Because it's the largest ecosystem in the pale blue dot. It needs more data, it needs governance. Actually, the UN is working on a treaty to solve that, and there are regional initiatives. With us today here are two people from one of those initiatives, the Sargasso Sea Commissions, that are going to help us to dive into the challenge. So you're going to dive into the Sargasso Sea with us if you come at 1 o'clock on stage 1.
Fabulous. With 3 whole seconds to spare, thank you so much. And as Victor said, that is stage number 1 at 1 p.m. A man who needs no introduction if you've been to any Odyssey event before. It is the Ministry of Crazy Shit, Mr. Jan-Peter Dominic!
Hi. Today I read in the newspaper that there was an artist in Berlin who walked through the streets of Berlin with 100 cellular phones behind him. And of course, what happened was Google Maps went crazy and started to reroute all the traffic. This is what you can do with 100 handies. This is exactly how brittle our critical infrastructures are. What we are going to do is to rethink radically how things work. If you look at the logo this year, then you see a caterpillar and a butterfly. Of course, we are about the crazy. How can you fly? But the tough thing is, how do you get rid of the caterpillar? We had this great example about highways. We are called Nature 2.0 because we share this planet with 8.7 million animal species. They don't care about ownership. They don't have money. They use identity in another way. And they all have working ecosystems. So that's one highway, 8.7 million species going that direction. There's one species, man, who believes that he has to go in the other direction. This is where going slower doesn't help, but rethinking radically. We are the toughest challenge, so we offer the most help. We want you to work hard before the hackathon because you have to be prepared. We also offer an ecosystem of 4 critical infrastructure parties who are there to help you. So if you want to change the world, this is the challenge for you.
No pressure. Thank you, sir. Welcome. And without taking a second to breathe, give a warm round of applause for Mr. Sander Kloot for Inclusive Safety Communities. And that's the other microphone.
Yes. Well, thank you. I have to talk about my problems. I work at a government agency, so there are plenty of problems for me. I'm just taking out one. I'm taking you to a day to the office. I work for the dispatch center. And imagine there's a call. There's a call coming in from a woman. She calls, I have a fire at my home. We try to ask her, well, can you go below? Can you go outside? Now she's in her bedroom. Lock the door, keep everything closed, and the fire department is on their way. We as a fire department came towards her house, and our average response time is 8 minutes, and smoke kills in 3. Unfortunately, the woman has died, and while we rode back to the station, we saw in the street a bus with a ladder on top. That was the single point that could have helped this woman because her window could be opened, only she was afraid of the jump below, it was around 3 meters. And our challenge is about how can we make everyone and help everyone to contribute in emergency situations based on what they can, what they have, and what they know.
Fabulous, thank you so much. And that will be on stage number 4, also at 1 o'clock. Nick, welcome. Nick van Apeldoorn, talking about how to give buildings a personality.
Yes, we are looking at opening up real estate. There are a lot of challenges, societal, environmental, and they are all related to the built environment. But there's only one way to face them, and that's collaboration and data sharing. We are already years working on the ecosystem, on the collaboration. So if you want to know which efforts we took, what we need from you, what we're asking from you, but also what we can offer you to together build this environment, this ecosystem, give buildings personality and solve all these challenges, you need to come to stage 5 at 1 in this afternoon.
Wow, with 30 seconds to spare, that is badass. Michiel, unfortunately that does not buy you any extra time. Ladies and gentlemen, a regular at all of our events, Mr. Michiel Sintony from Vattenfall about infrastructure for smart meter data. Yeah. Give him a round of applause.
So who's using energy? Wow, everybody. So this is the challenge that you want to work on. We are trying to build a new infrastructure for together with the teams that are also participating on a new digital infrastructure for our energy system in Europe. We have some really interesting people in the panel that agree on one thing, that improvement is possible, but disagree on everything else. So if you want to have an interesting panel discussion, please come to our stage and ask the right questions to our panelists.
Wow, 20 seconds to spare. You guys are making my day. Thank you so much. And Andrew, you actually have 2 minutes because you're going to talk about 2 different things, I believe. Or maybe you'll wrap it into one. But Mr. Andrew Moyman talking about self-sovereign identity.
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about self-sovereign identity. It sounds simple, but it's really complex. In today's world, everything is digital and every transaction does need an identity component. We'd like to solve that in a self-sovereign way, where you are in control and give consent of who owns your data, does what with your data, and actually you are in control of all the properties you own as a person. It really sounds simple, but until today, like the example shown before, things are done in different ways. We are digital, but we write things on paper. How are we going to solve that? This is our biggest challenge. If you want to drive societal change, enable new economies, but also want to enable new ways of thinking and want to enable new ways of our society being shaped, you should join our challenge. But we're not doing this challenge alone. We're doing this challenge together with the Ministry of Interior, DigiCampus, Dutch Blockchain Coalition. Of course, all the members of the Dutch Blockchain Coalition are there to support you. Pre-hackathon, but also after the hackathon. We really want to make sure that it's not only a technological challenge, it's actually something much bigger. We need to instill trust, interoperability, usability, transparency for all users. So it's about inclusion, it's about making our society work better and more efficiently. By the way, just as a reminder, tomorrow there will be a keynote speak from Christopher Allen. Please go there as well. He's got very great insights, not only the 10 principles of identity, but way more. If you want to know more, because I've got a couple of seconds left, please join us at stage 7. We've got 2 sessions where we share with you much more details and much more in-depth tools that we're going to share with the teams working with our challenge, but also we're going to share with the teams working in other challenges. Because, as I said in the beginning, every transaction needs an identity. Thank you very much.
Fabulous, perfectly on time. Thank you so much, sir. And some of you will have noticed, because that was a double pitch, the same as Jan Peter, there were 2 rooms/times up there. If you're already confused, don't worry about it. It's all on the website, connect.odyssey.org. Lovely scheme for you to figure out where you need to be. Keep breathing, because we're running out of time, so I'm going to invite to the stage the next round of pitches, and that is Gintaris, Erik, Danny, Gertie, and Ewald. Would you be so kind to come and join us? Yes. Gintaris, yes. You're first up, man. How are you?
Good.
And you're going to talk to this lovely audience about from plastic pollution to upcycling economies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like the luckiest one, I guess, because we had Mark, which basically gave like, 45 minutes pitch on exactly what I wanted to tell you in 1 minute, right? So you don't need to listen to me speaking very, very fast. But fundamentally, what we believe in, and why we kind of brought this challenge, and another one, which Jan Willem are going to talk later on, is how we can outcompete destructive systems, right? How we can take all of that plastic, and bring it back. How we can create a circular economy around it. And you see in all of these pictures, right? Even if we're going to stop things now, it's not going to get lost, It's still going to be there, so we need to find a way how we can create and solve this kind of complex and systematic challenge, So we are bringing stakeholders, and Mark kind of had a nice call to action, How, about Unilever, Pepsi and Cokes and all of those big giants joining us together and kind of trying to tackle this challenge. So we as VMware, we are here, basically to help bridge the gap, bring those enterprise corporate stakeholders, bring the right technology, be the force for good, right? We can launch nukes, we can also change the planet. Right, so being the force for good is like the message here. So come there at 2 p.m., right, stage 1? See you there.
Awesome, thank you so much, sir. And we're taking absolutely no time to breathe. Keep that round of applause going for Mr. Erik Rutgens talking about Open Source 911.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. 1 minute is a very short time, so I'll keep it quick. Cybercrime is moving into digital space very quickly. Or as Mark said, all doom and gloom, isn't it? We need, and actually small and medium enterprises are hit most by these attacks, and after most of them are out of business after 6 months. We need to share data in a smart way to be more resilient. We need to create information for every stakeholder to create a safer society. What we offer you as our slingshot teams is all necessary partners, a sustainable business model, and a new future. Thank you.
Wow, you wasted 5 seconds at the beginning and finished 10 seconds early. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Mulder talking about circular economy for freight packaging.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it sound sexy, right?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Hi there. We at TVM want to change the transportation supply chain as we know it. And we are trying to do it with first transportation packaging. We are an insurance corporation owned by our members, and we are currently the largest transportation insurance company. And we are looking for an open protocol solution that allows the current ecosystem to incorporate existing technical solutions. And we have a lot of stakeholders in the supply chain. Our wishes are to localize and identify their own reusable packaging. And second of all is to certify and successfully return reusable packaging. So please join us at stage 4 at 2 o'clock.
Fabulous, thank you so much, sir. And I have to say, I come from a background of supply chain and logistics, so as interesting as packaging sounds, the business model potential behind this is enormous, right? Yep. So if you're looking to build real business from any of these things, this is definitely one of them. Without further ado, Gertie Aerts, and this is one where I'm actually genuinely curious about, because I know nothing about this subject.
Alrighty.
And unfortunately, I can't be at your deep dive, because I'm going to be here hosting one. So I'm going to listen very carefully to the 1 minute.
But you can come to our stand.
That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make sure I get to see the video version. Ladies and gentlemen, warm round of applause for Gertie Aerts talking about a digital architecture for peace. For peace.
Hi everyone, looking forward to connect with all of you during today. I represent the Innovation Center of the Chief of Defense of the Netherlands Forces, and what we do is scouting promising technologies in the non-defense world and connect it to the world of defense and to our missions. What a lot of people do not know is that the military also has a role, a supporting role, in the earliest of phases of a developing conflict, and therefore we have a role in conflict prevention. So we are in the challenge today with our main partner, which is a grassroots organization very active on conflict prevention in the world, and that's the Business Plan for Peace. We are looking for an early warning system that provides us and actors who would like to use it the ability to act early in order to prevent escalation into violence. The system has to be timely and the system has to be trusted.
Right on time to the second. Thank you so very much. And lastly but not leastly for this round, Mr. Arold, but I can call him Ed Hesse, to talk about the energy singularity for decentralized markets. And you're going to do 2 pitches in one, I believe. Go on, make him feel welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Our partners and us are convinced that a future energy market that is most inclusive, real-time, and secure can only be done through bottom-up design run by agents. And so we need to create such a market design, having all the players, all the stakeholders at the table. And that's why we have so many partners in this challenge. We have created a simulation environment where we have created digital twins of communities, and we have 2 challenges where we hope to get your help. The first challenge is we have data. We are looking for data scientists that create trading algorithms, because the final consumer, prosumer, you will not trade electricity. It will be someone else doing it for you, much more optimal. And the second challenge is actually the biggest challenge. We want to transform how you feel, think about electricity. We want to transform electricity into a form of communication. So we want 4 teams to build applications that build on top of this protocol that we have designed and transform how we all think about electricity. And the result shall be a simulation at a large screen where we see a lot of people interacting like agents at the same time, and hopefully a deployment afterwards. Thank you very much.
And 30 seconds to spare. You are my hero. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, folks. And for the last and final round of the afternoon, I would like to welcome on stage Jan Willem, Axel, Kester, and Ivo. And as soon as Jan Willem comes on stage, I'm going to put a microphone in his hand, and he's going to come and talk to us about consumer-driven decarbonization. Is that correct? Yep. 1 minute on the clock.
Thank you.
And these folks are going to give you a nice warm welcome.
Thank you all. So I don't know a lot of companies that have been able to save over 1 billion metric tons of carbon emissions. I happen to work for one. And the reason of that is that we are an ecosystem player. We can't do it ourselves, so the products we create, we put it in the hands of our customer and jointly with our customers. We've been able to save that due to virtualization, saving money, saving data center energy. So we thought we should pick it up a notch and make sure we facilitate what we can do in this hackathon by delivering an infrastructure that everybody can use, a language that people can communicate, and an interface where the data can flow in between that. To facilitate the creative thinking, to not just do a carbon tax, but incentivize the people to make the right choices and the right decisions. So we urge you to bring in your creativity, talk to us, and come and be in our challenge. Thank you.
Fabulous, thank you so much, sir. And moving straight on to Mr. Axel Eriksson about balancing the grid.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like a ballet act.
Now, a lot of things that we've heard here today depend on a reliable power source. And currently, our power is generated by fossil fuels. Now, when we make the transition to renewable energy, we need to deal with the fluctuations in the power system. So we're going to spend our 45 minutes to talk about what we believe to be the key enabler to this, flexibility, and how we can leverage all the available flexibility in the power system. Oh, thanks.
Holy cow! 30 seconds left over, started with his hand in his pocket and looks badass at the same time. I'm thoroughly jealous. Ladies and gentlemen, keep that round of applause going for Mr. Kester Meyer, also not a unfamiliar face at Odyssey events, from KLM, talking about the compliance of air cargo flow. Sounds complicated. 1 minute on the clock.
Air cargo is really sexy, right? How many of you do not feel too well today? Hands, come on. Oh, you're all very, very well, good. Because that's what we want. We want people to feel well. We want them to have a good health. And so the challenge we are looking for is in the supply chain. There are between 7 to 15 handover moments when we ship pharmaceuticals from the manufacturer right down the way to the patient. So how do you know it's genuine? How do you know it's not counterfeit? In Africa, 40% of the medicine is counterfeit and is being used for negative stuff. And it can even go all the way up to terrorism. And we want to solve that. So all the UN stuff we have there is in our challenge. I need teams for a protocol, I need teams for a use case, and if you come to our challenge, it's so complex, we will give you some free headache pain relief. Thank you.
And I was about to make a comment that fake medicine is perhaps the most evil thing I can think of, and then you say we're going to give you some headache tablets. It's not a good combination anymore, is it? Ladies and gentlemen, last up from our pitches or sneak peeks with a double, so pay attention twice. Mr. Ivo Hunnink, and he's from right here in Den Haag. Give him a round of applause. Good job, man.
By being here, you're a stakeholder in our challenges. You are in The Hague. And the complex set of challenges we have here is so complex that we wanted to give you another medium of understanding our problems. So if someone could roll the video, that would be great.
Cities today face many challenges, and above all, the resilience of our institutions, our communities, and our identities are being challenged. We face polarization, segregation, and increasing loneliness. Digitization is a challenge itself, but also has an impact on these and other challenges we face. There is still a lot to learn, but let's look at the bright side. In The Hague, we value peace and justice, also in the digital domain. We are still discovering what that means, but we do know we need mass collaboration to find out. That is why we created Living Lab, to test digital innovations that solve complex societal problems and in which everyone can participate. This way we can co-create a collective intelligence, our city's consciousness. Imagine new ways to manage events, clean neighborhoods, or engage local communities. How do we facilitate the emergence of a self-organizing, anti-fragile, inclusive, and engaging digital ecosystem? This is why we are participating in Odyssey 2020 Hackathon with 2 challenges. Our first challenge concerns the admission and monitoring protocol. How do we regulate when ideas, actors, and sensors have access? The second challenge questions how we maintain a vibrant ecosystem with the right incentives, where the complex is made simple and where everybody can control how their data is used. To solve these challenges, we provide building blocks like a 3-dimensional programmable city map, self-sovereign identity, and a decentralized data exchange. Whether you are a data scientist, a token engineer, or a concerned citizen, we invite you to share your ideas and come create a conscious city with us.
Thank you. Our deep dives are in this room. We're going to talk with the Province of South Holland and our Chief Information Officer. See you there.
Fabulous. Thanks so much, Ivo. Gentlemen, thank you so much.